Last year, the U.S. burned 6.6 billion barrels of oil, 437 million tons of coal, and 210 cubic miles of natural gas. The burning of these fossil fuels resulted in the U.S. producing 5.1 billion tons of carbon monoxide. The solution to this problem may be nuclear energy. There are advantages and disadvantages, but I believe nuclear energy can help replace fossil fuels. One of the biggest advantages is that it has low CO2 emissions. Most of the emissions actually come from the mining, refining, and preparing process of uranium, which is the fuel for nuclear reactors. Also, it has a very small land footprint compared to other green fuels. So, one nuclear reactor facility takes up way less space than one solar farm that is producing the same amount of energy. Also, it has a very high energy output. One nuclear reactor produces around 1,000 watts of electricity, which is equal to 3,125,000 solar panels and 431 utility-scale wind turbines. Also, it is a very reliable source of fuel. That means that it runs 24/7, 365. It will run sunny, cloudy, windy, not windy. This makes it a very stable baseload, which means that it produces the same amount of electricity no matter the natural or unnatural surroundings of it. So it will always produce the electricity that, say, a city will need. So it makes a very good baseload for cities. But it does have disadvantages. The biggest disadvantage is radioactive waste. 2,000 tons of radioactive waste is produced yearly across the world. But take into account the 5.1 billion tons of CO2 that is pumped into the atmosphere from the US alone. 96% of radioactive waste is actually recycled into MOX, mixed oxide fuel. But that 4% that is not recycled gets first mixed with glass and then put into steel cylinders that are filled with inert gases that will not react with the spent uranium. And then they're put into giant concrete tombs that are supposed to be natural disaster proof, basically everything proof. It's supposed to be able to withstand bombs, tsunamis, earthquakes, hopefully anything. And the second big disadvantage of nuclear energy is the possibility of meltdowns. There have been 3 major meltdowns in recent history. This is Chernobyl, TMI, and Fukushima. Chernobyl and TMI were both human error, and they were both over 40 years ago. Since then, nuclear energy has come a very long way in terms of safety, efficiency, and just overall energy production. So hopefully nothing like those events will never happen again. Fukushima was a natural disaster that was caused by an earthquake that triggered a tsunami. Then the tsunami hit the nuclear facility, which caused a meltdown. But, like I said before, they have taken many precautions, especially ones to prevent meltdowns from natural disasters, like what happened at Fukushima. There are many upsides and a few big downsides to nuclear energy, like the low carbon emissions, the small land footprint, the high energy output, and the reliability. But you risk the radioactive waste, which we don't have a super good solution to yet, and the possibility of meltdowns. But the time to replace the fossil fuels is running out. Scientists predict that we will run out of oil by 2052, natural gas by 2060, and coal by 2088. And as I said earlier, scientists are every day making advancements and improvements to nuclear energy, making it safer and more effective, which is making it a lot more viable. And with these advancements, we can hopefully look forward to a more nuclear powered future.